Revelation 1913. From the 12th of May 1941. Exceptional requirements. Stresses, new time. Life demands total commitment, and this in every way. Earthly demands are made which place an immense burden on the human being if he wants to meet all requirements at a time which can be called critical. But spiritually the human being should likewise summon all his strength in order to do justice to that which is the purpose of his embodiment on earth. It is now easy to understand that one or the other has to suffer. That where only earthly things are taken into account the human being completely exhausts himself in this direction, especially since two completely opposite directions also require completely opposite attitudes. Only the spiritually striving human being will be able to establish a certain balance, for this striving will also simultaneously supply him with the strength to fulfill the earthly task. Whereas the earthly-minded human being who only endeavors to comply with the demands of the world will not be able to cope with this either, for in the end these demands will exceed his strength because the new age will bring a tremendous change. Something will be demanded of the human being which exceeds his strength, and he will not be able to resist it and will finally succumb if he does not change his mind and hand over the earthly burdens to the one who is Lord over all. Even in this difficult time the human being has the opportunity to lead an easier life if he does not exclusively live an earthly life but first becomes aware of his actual earthly task, which is far more important than an earthly life of well-being and the fulfillment of earthly duties. The world approaches the human being more and more threateningly, it demands its tribute and hits those sensitively who do not willingly submit to its demands. And that means for the human being either an extraordinary burden on earth or a constant threat. But both result in the spiritual task remaining unnoticed, and thus earthly life does not bring progress but rather a step backwards in the higher development of the spiritual being. And yet, the human being can make earthly life easier for himself if he no longer regards it as the most important thing but directs his attention to what is uniquely important, to his maturity of soul. From that moment on earthly life goes its regular course, for even that which the human being feels to be against his well-being is necessary for his higher development, thus it is right and good, even if it appears otherwise. And thus, no matter how unfulfilling the earthly demands may seem, the human being will overcome them as long as he first pays attention to the maturing of his soul and thus enters into and maintains contact with God, who will then help him to overcome even the greatest difficulties with ease, who will not leave a person without help who sincerely prays to him in every spiritual and earthly adversity. Amen.